Hey everybody, and welcome back to Emerald Coast. Been a while since we've been here, and something. Go. Sorry about that. I had a poll up from the last live stream, and needed to get rid of that. It is midsummer. I think last time we left, it was early summer last week. You've gone ahead and moved on into early summer, and we've got crops to harvest. We are going to take this load of wool down to the wool sell point. Then we've got some eggs I'm going to sell off. Then we're going to come up here and start some canola harvest. Real excited. This is the first harvest of the map. At this point, all the money that we have earned has been either from forestry or compost. But we are finally making our way with real crop. We do have rain in the forecast, so we do need to try to get started on some harvest early on. A fair bit of the map has come into harvest at this point. As we get down here to the wool sell point, I'll show you guys the map. Hey Bryant, how you doing? Yeah, sure. If you're in the Discord, that's fine. But just be aware that I do use push to talk, so you might not hear me through Discord while I'm chatting away through the stream. If you're in my Discord channel, you'll see me over there in the open stream. Just click on that, and it should take you into the voice channel. This is where we sell our wool. They are opened early today. There we go. So let's take a look up here at the map. So look at all this. So fields 3. Well, it's easier to tell you what fields aren't ready to harvest. Fields 1, 4, and 5 are not ready to harvest. Everything else on the map is in a ready to harvest state. Potatoes are ready to harvest. They have got 3 tops on there. So of our fields, we've got 3 fields of canola, 1 field of wheat to bring in, and we've got a field of sugar beet that we still need to bring in. It's not bad. $7,200 in wool. There's a link in the description to the Discord channel. Let's go ahead and head on up here to the egg sell point. Y'all may notice the information screen down in the bottom right has a little bit different units of measurement now. I don't remember if I had this in last week when I was doing the stream or not, but I've got a units conversion mod in now that has converted liters to gallons and lots of other fun stuff. Once we get over here to the egg sell point, I'll show you guys a little bit more information. Hey Will, what's up? When am I gonna do a 24-hour stream? I guess that's what you're saying. Probably never, Brian. I don't. I've got kids. I've got responsibilities. I can't stay up and just do a stream 24 hours straight. So I probably won't be ever doing a 24-hour stream. I might pop in and participate for a short duration of somebody's 24-hour stream, but I'm not into the gimmicks like that anyway. With respect to like, you know, doing a stream like that. So, hey Kaya, what's up? Hey John, hey Haggard Farms, if I hadn't mentioned you all earlier. Hey Perrin. Alright. Guess we could have sold the eggs at that restaurant. Just forgot about that. I said I was going to mention the that American Conversions mod. It's over at American Eagles Modding. And as you can see up here, it's changed everything to bushels. So it's changed the prices and the unit of measurement to bushels for our main crops. Sugarcane is at cubic feet. And other things are cubic feet, gallons. Wool is sold in pounds. So I could have held out for a higher price there, but just wanted to get had a full pallet. Cubic feet for most of these other things. And what else is of note? Water here is in gallons. Grass is in cubic feet. Here the pig stuff is in bushels and cubic feet there. Storage capacity of the silo has been converted over to bushels here. And when we get over to a field buy point, you'll see that the fields are now registered in acres also. Let's head on back. And we'll just jump over here, these two big fields, just to show this, you guys. Oh, bumpy road. Hey, Alien Jim, what's up? Let's show you this. Field 24 is 11.05 acres now, not hectares. It's pretty cool. That other one. Here's the big field. Big boy field 23 is almost 74 acres in size, as opposed to whatever it was in hectares. Hey, Trauma Medic, what's up? Uh-oh. 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 Well, we chose a very poor spot to stop. And as you can see, this truck is two-wheel drive. We are now centered high on this pickup. Well, we'll just have to come and get you later. Let's do a little teleportation. This is what I was going to do anyway. We're going to come back here and get our harvester that we bought last stream. Bought this from the Modern Classics DLC when it was late spring, thinking we would get to harvest in early summer, but we didn't get to do that. Oh, let's do something. We are at, oh cool, we're at light compaction. Let's just check this out. Let's go drop the air pressure in this bad boy and see if we can get it down to low compaction. That'd be super awesome. Or none. That's what I meant, not low. None. Let's open up this door. Get that started. Now let's take the air out of our tires here. I doubt we're going to get this to no compaction. But what the hey, let's try, right? Oh, look at this poor back tire is squat. That's all. Alright. Let's put air back in it. Talk about your Kodak moment. There we go. We got this. Got this doing the hoopty dance. Hoopty dance. Uh-oh. Alright. That was funny. Let's see here. But Zyth is saying, I've never tried Seasons and want to. I played a lot of this map and wondered if you could recommend a good map to start Seasons play on and how many days per season find best. Okay, well, you could start Seasons on this map if you wanted. The key is, if you want to do that on this map, is harvest all the fields and get all the fields in a harvested state and then turn Seasons on. Then you'll basically add it to the mod folder and activate it. Next time you open up the game, it'll ask you if you want to reset growth. You can say yes, and it will basically revert everything to a harvested state, and that's why you want to go ahead and have all your fields harvested anyway. Or you could just say not to reset growth. Now the only possible detriment, and you probably wouldn't have that problem with this map, is if you do not reset the growth, Seasons will always start in early spring. So it's possible on a normal map that uses the normal Seasons geo that existing crops would wither as a result of the spring temperatures. Now, I don't think it would happen on this map because this map has its own custom geo built in that is some pretty warm weather. So I doubt you'll ever have that problem if you activate Seasons here and don't reset crop. As to what map would be a good map to start Seasons on, any map that is Seasons prepared, so any map in my playlist of map videos that has the Seasons graphic on the title slide is going to be a map that has snow mask in it and would be Seasons prepared and would be probably the most appealing as far as, you know, trees changing color and all of that fun jazz. But it really comes down to your play style. What kind of maps do you like? You like big maps, little maps, and everything. Midtown, as Will pointed out, is an interesting map you could get started in because that's a good point. Is depending on the geo, you have Seasons allows you to have very different weather patterns. You can see how we have here with this built-in maps geo, where we can plant and harvest, which if you look at a different geo, or maybe the built-in Seasons geo that's built in, you'll find that it's completely different. And with Midtown's geo, which is a hybrid of the Midwest US geo, you can double crop. So you could plant wheat early on in the spring, harvest that wheat in early to mid-summer, turn around and plant corn or soybeans in early or mid-summer, and then harvest that in late autumn. Turn around, plant wheat or barley or canola in late autumn, and obviously turn that around and harvest that in early summer, do late or midsummer, and just basically keep repeating the cycle. The reason I bring that up is maybe a good way of starting seasons is that one of the big things people that are new to seasons talk about is the lack of stuff to do. Playing a map with seasons, and they do all the field work, and then they basically find themselves with nothing to do, and that really gets them, I guess, bored and bummed out, and they kind of get burnt out on seasons before they really even get started. But with a map that's using the Midwest geo, about the time you get done planting and fertilizing and everything with respect to spring, it's early summer, and you might have crop ready to harvest. And by the time you get the crop ready to harvest, or the crop harvested, and you turn around and replant your fields, guess what? It's probably time to harvest the darn thing again. And then you just basically keep repeating the cycle. I think on my last playthrough, the last year that I played on Midtown, I think I started harvest in late spring with some early wheat, and I don't think I ended harvest until late autumn. I think I was harvesting every single part of the year at that point. I was basically harvested out by that time. If you get the latest Midtown, you got the Graze mod, you got the Water Trough mod, you got the Nuggets, you got all the goodness. There was a question related to the conversion unit mod. I don't know the author's name, but it is over at American Eagles Modding. I don't know if Raznik or Genetic J could look it up and put a link in there. Hey Darren, Brian, it's gonna be a while, buddy. Basically, mods happen after you've been around for a while, and we know and understand who you are. See my grain truck over there. Handy dandy. Handy Dandy International, yellow and black, I guess. There you go. To the guy who was asking about the unit conversion mod. You see our harvester here is reflecting the number of bushels that are in it. So the default seasons duration is 9 days. I think this. I thought the width on this header was off. Okay. There we go. I had hit F5 earlier on, so my lines aren't showing up. I've played at all kinds of speeds. You know, we've done. I guess my first introduction to Seasons, actually playing it, was a 3-year Seasons challenge where I played 6-day seasons at 15 times speed. That was like speed farming. That was a pretty hard deal there. Then we moved on to 24-day seasons at 15 times speed, and that was pretty chillaxed there. That was on Churn Farms. Then I moved off of that to 15-day seasons, 5 times speed, and then we went over to 9-day seasons, 5 times speed on Rathlin Island. That's where we are now on our recorded series. And then on this series we're doing 12-day seasons at originally I was doing 12-day seasons at 10x, 10 times, but I really kind of decided that was the day was a little too short for what I needed to do, so I just bumped it down to 5. But ultimately what it is it comes down to picking a speed that works for the size of equipment that you're farming with. So if you like to farm with big stuff, you know, if your ideal harvester is the New Holland 1090 with the big 45-foot header or whatever, then you're going to want to run at a faster clock because you're going to get done so much faster. If you like to run with smaller equipment, like this harvester and this header, then it's going to take you a bit longer to get through your fields, and as a result, it's going to, you know, you're going to be able to play at a slower clock speed and not really find yourself bored with nothing to do. That's the big thing, is making sure that you don't end up playing too fast for your clock, because it's not so fun when you've got to fast forward through 5 or 6 game days because everything's been done. I like to try to time it. I don't even need that. I like to try to time it so in a perfect world you're just about done everything you need to do before the season transitions, and then you've got you know, a whole new set of work to do. I'll have to fix that. Yes, Darren, if you download the latest version of it and you do Alt 9, you can bring up the better minimap settings and you can turn display off, and it's gone. But the Alt 9 thing is only in the latest version that's in the mod hub. It's been updated a few times to include a few features, and one of those is the map menu options. Yeah, 15x, man, that is when you're seriously keeping yourself hopping, because the day goes by in about an hour and 10 minutes of real life time. So if there's not much time to be spent dilly-dallying around, and depending on the map, it could take you half a day to go to the town, pick something up from the shop, and get back to the farm. Which, if you think about it, is pretty realistic. Because, you know, there's not a lot of farms that are just a few minutes away from the shop that you could run down to the shop and be back in, you know, 10 or 15 minutes. Usually if you're going to go down to the farm dealer, it's going to be quite a trip. Or if you're going to go to the grain sell point, the grain dealer, whoever's selling your grain, that could be an entire day's affair. Usually you start in spring. There's ways to trick it to start in a different season. I don't know if that's necessarily the best way to start. I have tricked it before. I tricked it on Rathlin Island. I tricked it on this map. You start in winter as opposed to spring. But I wouldn't really suggest it for the first-time player. You do have to kind of edit the save game. The reason I do it is because I want to start a series. I don't want to start every map I ever do on an early spring. I don't want to start every series I do with plowing fields. Sometimes I want to start a series as if, you know, I start a series. That would be pretty fun to start a series in early autumn. I tell you, I was going to start this map a very specific way. I was going to basically farm this map. I was going to basically harvest the fields that I was going to own from the very start. And I was going to harvest them without seasons. I was going to store that grain in the silo. I was going to mow and bale the grass fields. I was going to have all that hay stored. I was going to have straw stored from the wheat and barley harvests. And then I was going to turn on seasons. And then I was going to start the map with the grain and the hay that I actually harvested from the non-seasons fields. So basically I wasn't cheating anything in. I was starting with exactly what I pulled out from the land. That's how I was going to start this map. But then I had the idea one day at the park with the kid to start from literal scratch of no money, a pickup truck, and a chainsaw. And that's how I ended up starting it. So maybe I'll reserve that other way of starting a map for another time. But one thing you could do is you could kind of start, if you hack this save game, you could start in autumn. But you could use Creator Tools, the Creator Tools mod. You go in and basically set the field state on your fields to a certain state. So with the latest Creator Tools, you can go in and you can basically say, for field 3, I want, hey, thanks for the sub, Dead or Alive Gaming. So you could set the field state of field 3 to be, have canola. You could set it to be at the final growth stage or the first harvest stage. And you could set it to be plowed, and you could set it to be fully fertilized. And basically you click the OK button, and presto, your field has canola in it. It's ready to harvest, and it's plowed and fertilized. So Creator Tools could allow a gamer or a content creator to start in, let's say, early autumn or late summer, and basically force in um, force in crops, so you're not playing from spring in prepping the map. Right? Got that one just in time. Apparently this harvester holds 161 bushels. The creator tool does not really work on non-square fields. I've never really tried it. I messed with it just testing it on Goldcrest Valley, which of course has square fields, so if it doesn't really paint the fields very well, if they're not square, then that's not really a good option. Alright, John, see you later. Thanks for coming out. I wonder if in the store it shows you the capacity and yep. This truck holds 1,000 cubic feet of crop and has a tank of 200 gallons. So in Farm Sim news, if people aren't up to speed, Lone Oak was listed as in testing today for the very first time. Apparently, in reading a thread over at FS UK, Bullet Bill had updated earlier in the day that console version had moved from file checking to play testing. Apparently at the file checking stage, that's the stage that lots of things get kicked back with texture formatting and general things like that. So the map has cleared that stage and is moved into play testing on console. Apparently it takes longer to play test a console map than it does a PC map. Not really sure why. You'd think if they're playtesting, it would be the same time frame to do both. But it may be an indicator of maybe if things are, if the stars are aligned, maybe the map will get released this week. Maybe. Definitely not kicked back in the stage that lots of things get kicked back in. Hey Talgar, what's up? We got rain is imminent. Wonder if we'll be able to finish this field before it starts to rain. Well, I have to say I haven't seen it at all, Darren, beyond some screenshots that Bullet Bill posted a while ago in the over at FS UK. I've been avoiding the all the media, all of the media producers that have advanced copies. I've been avoiding those videos because I don't want to. I don't want to taint my my thoughts with their thoughts. We also have the, what is that, Black Mountain Creamery from Black Sheep Moddings, or Blue Mountain Creamery or something. Not really sure where that map is in the process. Some Black Sheep videos kind of had insinuated that map was soon to be sent to Giants for testing, but you know, we haven't seen it. And I was mentioning to some other folks in the Discord earlier today about the Black Sheep building placeable that just hit the Mod Hub last week. I had remembered seeing a Black Sheep video on that building, so I went back to look at it. And I was surprised I had to go back 7 months to find the video that they had posted about that placeable building, showing it off. And I was looking at that, I'm like thinking, that's even before the Valley of the Old Farm came out. Why did it take that long to get that building out there? But then when I did see it, and I'm pretty sure I had seen some screenshots or other videos about the South Mountain Creamery, thank you Raznik, that included that building. So I was thinking, oh well, if that building's making it to the Mod Hub, maybe the map is soon to follow. But well, we haven't seen it yet. I don't even remember if I've seen it in the mod testing thread at this point. So it's another map that I'm eagerly waiting, but also trying to keep my expectations low. You know, the hype engine can be a very bad thing sometimes. And you can definitely overhype something to the point where when you see it for real, you think to yourself, really, is that all it is? I had envisioned something much grander in my head, and now I'm a little disappointed. So I try to keep my expectations low. Looking over this harvester, I was admiring the dirt on the wheels. There's a pretty nice set of dirt on the wheels there. Looks like the rest of the harvester gets dirty pretty slow. We've got Welker Farms. That map I know is in testing. I remember seeing it last week, and I think it wasn't in testing on Friday, and it didn't get released on Friday. So I'm wondering if maybe it got kicked back for some reason. It's hard to say. Like I said, Rob, I haven't seen those videos either. Keeping the mind empty of expectations and what other folks are thinking about the map. Maybe one day I'll go back and watch some of those in retrospect after I see the map and have had a chance to record my own video. Right. Well, the clouds haven't gotten dark, so I'm hoping maybe we can get this field done before the before the rain comes. Well, I did see one video where he was like having camera problems, and then it cut to in-game footage, and it was kind of doing this cut between real life and in-game to show the representation of what things really look like. That's the only video I saw related to the map. All right. One down and one up pass, and we will be done. Let's hope we can. I don't think we'll be able to store it all. I think we're going to have to run across the field and get the truck. Now, interesting enough, Glance up there is showing it to me in liters. We're at 5,500 liters. And down here in the info screen, we're at 159 bushels. Turn that off. On over here and get our truck. So how many folks caught the stream or the replay of that racing title I was doing yesterday? Check the poll that I had up on the video this morning. Apparently, some of you thought it was an okay video or okay game. Back up. Thinking about starting a regular stream, not of that game. That game was Oh, that was different. I'm thinking about starting a regular stream, maybe on Sundays, where I just try random different things. Well, Riley, I have tried recording Truck Sim, but I've never been happy with the quality of the recording. It always seems to record at something less than 30 frames. Oh, Delta Bravo, thanks for the... What is this again? Super chat. Thanks for the super chat. I'll tell you what I'm thinking about doing. Let me look on Steam real quick at what I'm looking about doing next time. So I've got this game called Ticket to Ride, and I saw it pop up in Steam, and I'm really interested in it. It's a computer game adaptation of a board game, a board / card game, and it's kind of train based. Ticket to Ride meaning train tickets. I had seen a podcast video of some folks playing this years ago. I don't know how many of you all remember, and I don't even remember the name of the videos, but there was a set of folks that did WoW videos. It wasn't like gameplay videos, but they like dressed up and pretended they were characters in WoW, and they were real life people. Well, the one girl that did a lot of those videos kind of started her own thing, and I'm pretty sure Will Wheaton got involved. And I just remember watching this this podcast series where Will Wheaton would bring in random people that he knew and were friends with, and they'd play these weird, obscure board games. And one of the games that they played was this Ticket to Ride, and it seemed rather interesting. And when I saw it on Steam, I was like, "Oh, I know what that is." So I picked that up, and I think we're gonna do a video on that. Try to figure out how the heck to play, and see what we think. Right. Let's see what we got out of this field. We get out of this field 353 bushels. Oh, and look, I almost color coded those. They're not quite the same. Close enough. Set this up over here. Let's go get this, and let's see if we can't get another canola field done before the rain comes. Y'all ever heard of Ticket to Ride? Curious how obscure this game is. I know I had never heard of it until I saw this video on it several years ago. Surprised, Darren, you didn't recommend I do Goat Simulator. Go. No, it doesn't count, Rob. Sorry. Brain surgeon simulator? No, no. I'm not a brain surgeon. I just stayed at a Holiday Inn Express last night. Is that what you're talking about? I'll try to record another American truck sim. See how well I do. Especially with the new event that they just announced. You not following? Not following. Now you're following. So did the real rocket scientist win, Rob? Ticket to Ride. Hey Johnny, what's up? Thanks for coming by. Gotta go slow because got the harvester behind us. Oh look, we got Dwayne behind us. I forgot I put that mod in. I put that mod where you can name your helpers, and Dwayne's behind us. If you remember, I've got two brothers named Daryl, and I needed a third one, so I called him Dwayne because I just wanted the D's. I've got three lady names too. I think I named them all J's. I have to wait till we have a lady name pop up, and then I might remember what the other ones are. So we got a break in traffic here. Let's head on out. I didn't name the ladies D. I named the guys D. So it's Daryl, and Dwayne. Oh, seriously, you just plow into me. Saw me cutting in front of you. Not cool, dude. Not cool at all. You know what? I should have went down that other row. This field right here is not ready to harvest. Let's just check. Or is it? No, that's wheat. Got a field of canola over here. Oh. Oh, get out of the field. We still got mud. So I don't want to harvest that wheat field. It's about to rain. And I'm going to put straw down to bale up for the cows. Here is the canola field we're going to harvest. I'm doing 12-day seasons, if that's what you're asking. This is the first day of midsummer. Check here. We had that weird cutter on the side. I guess that pops in and when we do canola. It's now gone. Of course. And here off we go. Let's see, it pops in as soon as we hit canola, so that must be a canola deal. This green, this red part changes the bottom of the header too. So I think we've decided when we're going to start Hof Bergmann. I think we're going to start that early next week. Let me check real quick. I had put up a poll in the multiplayer thread as to when people could be online to do an auction. And last time I checked, we had a couple dates. Yeah, so it's going to either be July 2nd, 3rd, or 5th. And I'm kind of leaning to July 2nd or 3rd, I think, for the online auction. So, kind of eager to get that started. I think lots of other people are eager to get that started also. So I don't know if we're going to have more, I don't know if we're going to do any more streams on Hof Bergmann before we start that or not. None of these fields were plowed, were they? No, none of these fields are plowed, so we're not seeing the compaction show up at this point. But we're gonna have to plow these fields once we're done. So hold on, I'll be right back. Alright guys, I'm back. I had to just settle a slight argument between two teenagers. They were playing... What game are you all playing? They're playing some game where they have... it's called Logo Game. And they had a debate. The question was what Microsoft browser uses a blue E as the logo? And daughter thought that was the internet. And apparently that was an incorrect answer. Because the name of the browser is not Internet. The name of the browser is Internet Explorer. Edge would have passed, Rob. I will give you Edge as the correct answer also. But this game was built before Edge existed. So I told her that, sorry, Internet is a thing and Internet Explorer is a browser. So therefore, Internet was not the correct answer. She was not very happy about that. Actually, Will, it gets more confusing than that. Because on the consumer side, like Windows 10 Home, I think Edge does replace Internet Explorer. But at the enterprise side, like Windows 10 Pro, Windows 10 Enterprise, and Windows 10 Education, Edge and Internet Explorer are two different things, and they reside on the same system. Because there's some enterprise software that doesn't work on Edge because of how Edge is working with respect to plugins. So it's a little more confusing than that. We got a big education thing going on at work where we got to try to explain to people that if your app isn't working in Edge, you need to open it up in IE, and they're different. I don't even know why she has the New York Rangers as her logo.
Hey, like the Ranger.
You've never even seen a game of hockey. It would be nice, Rob, if we could get to a day and age when we could have one browser that worked for everything. But people will call into the help desk and they'll be like, I can't get this to work in this particular browser. And we're like, well, open it in Chrome. Well, I don't want to use Chrome. I want to use one browser. And it's like, well, we don't live in that world. You can't just pick one browser and that's what you live with. You gotta basically know, okay, for this app I can use Chrome, for this other app I gotta use Edge, this other app I still have to use Internet Explorer. Oh, now we're getting some dirt on this thing. Well, you know, you should never do anything on the internet you don't want everybody to know. Because there are no secrets. Right? They are an ad company first. The Google is an ad company first. In fact, you may be presented with an ad for an ad company now because we've talked about an ad company. What is Bull Raven? I don't know what Bull Raven is.
Oh, let's go to Chicago. Let's go Boston. Let's go work. Oh.
I use Firefox a lot at work. At work I use Chrome for personal browsing and Firefox for work browsing. Kind of weird that way. I guess I don't want my my personal browsing history to interfere with my work browsing history. We're not going to get into a battle here. Uh-oh. It's now changed from rain to rain with sun later. I think we're closer to having rain. So I'm not seeing any rainy clouds. That will be something to see for 19 with the dynamic sky, where the clouds are objects, where we can maybe literally see the rolling in of storm clouds. That would be pretty cool. Well, that's not too bad. You're on day 10 of spring and you're still plowing. That's not bad at all. What is it? It's 8 days per transition. So if you think about it, you're going to be done plowing with half of spring still left. And depending on how you farm, if you cultivate and then seed, or if you just straight seed, you're still going to be done before spring is out. Because you're going to be able to cultivate a lot faster than you're plowing. So even if you plow, cultivate, and seed all in 3 different steps, you're probably still on track to being done before the end of spring. Yeah, that was the biggest. For me, the biggest detriment to Linux was graphics support. I remember when I was playing with Linux more than I am now. That was the biggest thing. Was I would usually put it on a laptop. I usually put it on a work laptop that we were getting rid of, and inevitably I would have driver problems. Inevitably, I would be trying to hunt down some Windows driver that I could make work with Linux for the wireless adapter, and trying to figure out how to get some Linux compatible graphics driver for the mobile chipset. Now I do have some Linux systems at the house because I'm using a Linux-based DVR for video recordings here at the house. So I've got system installed with Myth TV that I use to record TV shows, and I've been doing that for probably 5, 6, 7 years now. And I've got a network-based cable card tuner that has 3 tuners in it, and it records TV shows, and basically edits out the commercials for me. And then we've got another computer that basically is set up on another TV to play those. And of course, I can play them off of a web browser. I'm running Myth Ubuntu, which is just a Ubuntu distro that includes Myth. Now, Johnny there, he is he's a red hat guy, through and through. I can't pull up compaction because we didn't plow any of these fields, Darren. So it's not showing through. But this harvester is only doing light compaction, so it would be a light pink. So beyond the fact that I got to get rid of the plow, I would be able to lightly cultivate this field and flip it around pretty easy. Now, me and Will were talking about compaction a while ago, related to grass fields, because we were having a hard time figuring out. We were having a hard time finding a period-specific mower that that didn't cause compaction. But we weren't successful. New Holland mower that I've got lists as light compaction. Will got me a John Deere disc spine. It's a light compaction even with realistic weights. In fact, that disc spine that I've got, before I started messing with the weights, it was tipping the scales at 16,000 pounds. It was 3 times heavier than it is in real life. Will helped me get it to a realistic weight of 6,000 pounds. And even at 6,000 pounds, it's still listed as light compaction, which of course worried me with the with respect to the grass fields, because I was thinking that the compaction mod was additive. We talked about this, I think, on a different stream. I was thinking the compaction mod was additive, where if you went over the field with light compaction, you got light compaction. Went over the field again with light compaction, then you had medium, and so forth. So after just 3 times mowing, you were at the heaviest compaction state and therefore the worst yield for your grass. So, of course, Will knows Real Logger pretty good from his Graze mod work and everything, and you know, was talking about, well, technically in real life, these grass fields, they haven't been worked for years. So the ground is already compacted. It's already compressed. The act of driving over it with a tractor or a mower isn't going to compress it anymore. So to some degree, compaction shouldn't be factored into a grass-only field because of that. Now, they came back and basically said that that wouldn't work. That would break the mod. But what they did basically say is they're looking at maybe adjusting the yield so that a lightly compacted field has a higher yield than a no compacted field, the no compaction. And at that rate, that would negate the whole worry about compaction, at least at the light level, with a grass field. Because the grass field's not been worked. It's not soft. You know, it's not been turned over. Yeah, Raven. We're talking about a mod. It's a work in progress mod by the Seasons folks on soil compaction. And basically what it would do is it would eliminate the need or it would potentially eliminate the need for you to plow after every 3 harvests. So you start a map with the compaction mod, or you add it in. And if you add it in, but regardless, when you start it, you pretty much have to plow the fields anyway, because it's kind of what they do. It's kind of the way maps start. But once you plow the fields for the first time, if you properly manage compaction, you could never have to plow those fields ever again if you basically manage your compaction to the point where you can simply cultivate the field, and the cultivation will remove the compaction that you have gotten. It's a pretty interesting mod. It's still a work in progress, so it's not really ready for prime time. And since it's not ready for prime time, they ask that we not, those of us that are messing with it, not direct link it. But it's over on the Seasons GitHub area, or the Realmus GitHub. So I can basically tell you that. And if you know how to find it, then it's out there and available to try. But it is still a work in progress. I looked just before this stream, and it hasn't been updated in a week. So I'm still running the latest version. But it's one of those things where you should probably check every couple days. And just make sure that it's not been updated. But basically, depending on the way it factors in several factors. One is the moisture of the field, of the dirt. Okay, so the more moist the ground is, the more prone it will be to compaction. Let's go over here, out of the noise. So if we use our Whoopster here, you can see that this field has 10% ground moisture. Okay, let's go over here and just check this one. Yep. So we're at 10% ground moisture. So we've got a pretty dry field here. Okay. So if we look at the F1 menu, it says this harvester causes light compaction. Okay, so at 10% ground moisture, this field is causing, or this harvester, with its weight and its contact patch, the surface area of the tires that is actually making contact with the ground, it's causing light compaction. There are 4 compaction states. There's no compaction, light, medium, and heavy. So by driving on this field now, I'm basically putting this field into a light state. So I could come through with any cultivator, because a cultivator will remove light compaction. I could cultivate this field and get it back to a 0 compaction state. And depending on the size of tractor, the contact patch of the tires, and the weight of the tractor, and the weight and the contact patch of a seeder, I could possibly seed this field without incurring compaction. Or I could seed the field and it would get a light compaction. Either of those would be fine. I could then come through and fertilize the field. If I fertilized the field with row crop tires, then I'd be pretty much guaranteed to cause light compaction. Because even though care tires won't cause crop damage, even though row crop tires won't cause crop damage, their contact surface with the ground is so small that even a light tractor would cause compaction along that strip. So you could come through and you could fertilize. But you would only compact a very little narrow part of the field because of the boom would obviously not be contacting the rest of the field. And what we were worried about, what I was worried about initially was that things would be additive. So if I came over this with light compaction on seeding, and then I came over with light compaction on fertilize, and then I came over and I used light compaction to fertilize a second time, that part of the field would be heavily compacted, part of the field would be medium compacted, etc. Then if I came over the field with a harvester, which would typically be medium compaction due to its size and weight, then I would be worried that pretty much my field would always be in a heavy compaction state by the time I was done. But what we're seeing at this point with the testing, and maybe it's not working right, but what we're seeing is if I drive over it with a light compaction equipment, and then I come back later and drive over it with light compaction equipment, it doesn't compact it more. It basically says, oh, the field's already lightly compacted, so I'm not compacting anymore. Now, on Rathlin Island, a video that'll air next week, I used a digestate spreader to put digestate on the field. The act of seeding the field made the field lightly compacted because the field was rather moist. It was like 30-some% when I seeded it, and as a result, it was lightly compacted from seeding. And then I immediately came over it with a spreader applicator and put in digestate. And when the tank was full, it said medium compaction. When the tank was near empty, it said light. So I was expecting to see a darker pink at the start of the spreading and a lighter pink toward the end of the spreading. Well, it never changed pink color. It stayed the light compaction pink, even though I was going over it with a medium compaction implement. So I'm thinking maybe the compaction change isn't working the way they're thinking it is. I posted over on their Slack forum and I haven't heard anything back, so just have to see. We're trying it out here on this map, and we're trying it out on Emerald or on Rathlin Island. His header jumps off. Uh-oh, here it comes. Starting to get cloudy. So, yeah, how not to script your fields. And with the cultivators, if you use an in-game cultivator, I don't know if I have a cultivator. I might have to buy one. I gotta buy one anyway. Might buy one and demonstrate this here in a minute. With in-game cultivators, you can basically pick the cultivation depth of light to heavy. And if you do a light cultivation depth, then it only gets rid of like a lightly compacted field. If you do a deep cultivation, then it will get rid of a heavier compacted field. 1859 per bushel of canola. it's not green, so we're just going to keep that in the silo. And you know what? Let's go play with one of these cool silos. We're not going to put it in the main farm silo. We'll put it in one of these. Is it the silo at the pig area, or is it the silo at the compost master that's canola? I think it's the one at the pig area. That one's corn, I think. Back up and look. Yep, that one's corn. Okay, the one fenced in by the piggies. Right, up there. Because I was really worried that if it was additive, we would have to basically plow up our grass fields like every year. And it's like nobody wants to plow up your grass fields and replant your grass every year just to maintain some level of yield out of them. So, it's rain. So if they do make it so that grass has a higher yield when it's lightly compacted, or at least the same yield, doesn't give you a detriment, then that'll be cool. Yeah, some of the fields on this map are pretty big. Zoom out. 22, which is to our right here, it's one of the smaller ones. Field 23 is the biggest. With this unit conversion mod in, it reports field sizes in hectares, or not in hectares, in acres. And field 23 is 74 acres. Well, it does affect a yield. So the more compacted the ground is, the lower the overall yield for that area. So as was mentioned earlier about tram lines, a good companion mod to the compaction is probably the Proceed mod, where you here we are. Proceed mod is where you would it would put in we need to reset our truck, where you would put in tram lines, and then the act of having the tram lines would be reduce. Basically, you just drive on that part of the field, and that's where your compaction would be. Be a good companion mod, I think, to compaction. Store. Set point. Alright. So it does show you in the PDA. Sadly, all the fields pretty much on this map are not plowed, because we didn't do any plowing missions. But once we get around to plowing a field, you'll see where the compaction shows up as pink. on the field, as opposed to the need plowing of yellow. I added to Rathlin. The videos with the compaction mod will start showing up maybe the end of this week. Definitely next week they'll show up. All right. Oh, Will, I don't know if you saw that we confirmed that the bulk fuel does not let me fill up a tractor or a truck. It only lets us fill up a trailer. So if you were able to basically manage your compaction, or you didn't really care that your field had medium or heavy compaction, then you'd basically you wouldn't need to plow anymore. Or if you set the cultivator to have a deep depth, then you wouldn't have to plow, because at a deep depth, I think it will remove medium compaction. So, but if we go and if we look at our harvester now that we have wet crop, it might list as causing medium compaction because now the ground is wet, so it would be more prone to action, being squished. Trying to put it in this bin. Bin has been set up to take just canola. At least you don't have to go outside and crank the crank to get this thing to rig up. That would be absolutely and utterly annoying. Hold this. Up. Up there, that's good. We'll just use this New Holland from the compost area. And we'll use that to run the auger. Pretty sure this needs PTO. I don't think that auger will run by itself. Not super realistic because you can turn the tractor off. Still work. Then again, since when have we been super realistic here on this channel? Should. Oh, you know what? Got to pipe out. There we go. Got to pipe out. And there it is, flowing in. $240,000 liters of canola. Right. Just leave it set up. So if we look at this truck is set to light compaction. This pickup is lighter, so it actually is causing no compaction on the ground. So I could drive over the field with that without any issue. This tractor is currently at light compaction. And if you're new, you can change the tire pressure in your tractors to increase the contact surface area of the we still at light compaction. Okay. So if you increase the contact patch of your tires by lowering the pressure, then it's possible to lower your compaction. But we already tried with this harvester. The tire's all the way flat. It was still causing light compaction. So we went ahead and pumped the tires back up. I'll demonstrate, or I have demonstrated, and it just hasn't aired yet, in the Rathland series, where an implement and tractor will have one level of compaction with a field that is a specific moisture level, but as that field ends up drying out, it gets to a tipping point where that same implement and tractor no longer cause compaction. So I think for me it was basically like 25% when the field was at 26% to 30%. The tractor and implement were causing light compaction. When the moisture level in the field dropped to 25% or below, all of a sudden that exact same combination no longer caused compaction if the seeder was lowered onto the ground so that it was then taking some of the weight. Seeder was down on the ground, the tractor and seeder caused no compaction. If the seeder was lifted, the tractor would have light compaction because the weight of the seeder basically put the combination over the weight for which that specific contact surface of the tires and the weight of the tractor and seeder combined to cause it to have compaction. So that was pretty cool to be able to see over the course of one or two videos. Like I said, they're going to air in July when they finally get around to it. I think the video that just aired was maybe the first day of spring, where I think I was doing some snow plowing. And these videos are toward the end of spring. I'm going to put the harvester over here. When it stops raining and the crop dries out, we will continue harvesting our canola. Let's look at our cultivators here. Pretty sure I don't own a cultivator. Not this one. I don't know how realistic this is to the period, but I really like this cultivator. The other cultivator would have been this one. You notice that these are no longer in meters, these are in feet. So this one's 9 feet wide, this one's 20 feet wide, 12 feet. So this prepares the field, but this doesn't also plow. This one will actually seed. This is 17 feet. This is prepares the field for the next sowing. So that's not bad. 220 horsepower. Let's see what our horsepower rating. 150. 100. 75. 75. That's it. Best we have is 175. Can't use that one. Yep. It's 130. 320. Alright. Let's go back here. Plow. 50. We can't. We don't. This one. 100. Oh, this is the one we're going to use. 22 feet wide. Disc plow. Alright, let's go and buy that one. What the heck? Let's get to that. Hey, DoughBoy, what's up? Thanks for coming by. Look at this cultivator. That's the one we're going to get. Let's run down to the shop with the tractor. Where is our big tractor at? Yep. Let's run down the shop and look at that cultivator because I want to show you how. No, that's a modded cultivator. Dang it! Alright, that's easy enough. We'll just buy a in-game cultivator and then sell it. Let's get Let's just get this one. Buy that one. We're gonna sell that one later. It's got discs. This one, because that one different. Look at that one. All right. That's what we'll do. We'll end the stream after we look at these cultivators. So with the compaction mod, you've got to go in and basically put in some XML code currently for modded implements like a cultivator. But that's why I picked up the in-game ones real quick, because we don't have to mod those, or we don't have to add the code. We should be able to see where in the menu we can change the cultivation depth of those. And as a result of changing the cultivation depth, we change how much they decompact the soil, how much they loosen the soil up. The MF is the Massey Ferguson is very real. Massey Ferguson cultivator. This one? 17 feet? That's not too bad. Or the Massey plow. This plow at 7 feet. Oh. Ask 2 questions and get yes. Oh. That's some fun. That's some funness there. I know, I know. Well, we'll look at this when we get down here. We can sell stuff back right away with seasons, and we won't lose any money. All right, so here we are. So we're gonna go ahead and hook up to in-game cultivator. Okay. And if we look now, Z, cultivation depth shallow or deep. Okay, that is part of the compaction mod. If we pick deep, then in theory, I guess we reset these tines to dig a little deeper. And as a result, we get a greater level of decompaction. Now this one, I picked this one because this one is I guess more of a disc-based cultivator. We still have shallow, or see. Oh, let's actually back that up. Let's unfold it just in case. That's why I can't change it. So here is more of a disc cultivator, right? And you can see Z is shallow. I'm hitting Z and it's not letting me change the depth. So all I can do is light cultivation with this. I can only basically get rid of a lightly compacted ground, lightly compacted soil. This is that Sapphire cultivator. Oh, okay, it does have the code in it. Sapphire cultivator is letting me go shallow or deep. one. Not giving me a cultivation option because it's just basically set up as a plow. We're going to use this as our plow. What cultivator should we be... Should we be going with this little thing? This will do 50 at 17 feet. It's supposed to be a cultivator, but I think it's, what do we got? Light compaction, but it doesn't matter, because that thing, when it's down, won't cause any. Let's unfold it. Drop it. This shouldn't be causing it at this rate. Maybe it's because it's wet. Let's see what this one... Obviously, it's in the... it's got creep fields, so... Just want to see if it makes it pink. Well, part of what I want to do is I want to see... Zoom. I want to see if it leaves pink behind it or not. This will be easy enough to clean up later. I'll wait for the mini-map to refresh. You know off the top of your head how many horsepower that turbo plow needs? Best I got's 175 at this point. Not pink. What I'm going to do is I'm going to clear off this area here. Then I'm going to drive over the field with this tractor and cause it to be pink. Just to be able to demonstrate for you guys the change in as a result of compaction. So got this. It needs too much horsepower. I don't have that one. Yeah, it wouldn't work. Okay. So this one would be cool, but it's 250. I don't like using these ones. I guess I could use that. Or I could do all the plowing and no one would ever see it because I would never show it to you. Alright, so you can see here on the minimap. Basically, we have a little bit of pink. See, we don't have any color there, right? Let's go joyriding. Go joyriding. Drive all over the field here. And we're going to get all kinds of pink. That's enough joyriding. Sell this cultivator. That one. Busting my bubble and saying I can't use this other one. Rest. Tell me how to change that to a cultivator, I guess. Sad. Alright, now we got all kinds of pink. So now we got all kinds of fun pink here. That's showing me that I've got light compaction. If I run this by with this plow again, it will get rid of the pink. If I run this with a cultivator, it should get rid of the pink also. Darker the pink, the darker the cultivation. No minimap. So if you have the latest version of the enhanced minimap or the better minimap mod, Alt 9, bring up the minimap settings where you can turn the display on or off. You can also set the transparency level to be different. I've got it set to the lowest to the highest transparency. Or you can turn transparency off completely. You can change the refresh rate. Want to refresh a lot faster, you could set it to 15 seconds. So again, it's Alt 9 to pull that up. Or if you look at this and you go Shift 9, pull up the minimap help, then you get the Alt 9. Fat fingers. Alright guys, well it is 2 hours. It's 11:30 tonight and I am going to head off to bed. Thanks for coming out and watching. Be back here, not sure when. Not sure if we'll be back here on Wednesday. I'm not sure if I'm going to do any more streaming on Hof Bergmann until we actually start that up for real next week. But at any rate, till next time, happy farming.